Sonic Frontiers' second update released on the 23rd of June 2023, Sonic's 32nd anniversary and just over 7 months since the game's original release back in November of 2022. Now, I did a review of the game when it first came out, and I reviewed Update 1. So, let's look at Update 2, what it adds, what it changes, what it fixes, and any issues that arise because of it. Let's get the big one out of the way. I've never had an issue with the movement in Sonic Frontiers before. In fact, I had it tied in first place alongside Sonic Adventure's controls for the best Sonic control-wise. Well, not anymore, because god damn.
We're going to go all the way down here. We're going to turn our jump deceleration just off. We're going to turn our deceleration rate just off. And then further down here, also I'm going to increase the camera distance just a teensy tiny bit, because I'm probably going to want more if we're doing this. Action chain, challenge, retry. Direct battle camera, I'm turning that off. I maintain boost during a jump. I'm going to turn that on. Alright. Oh, they cooked so hard.
To start with, they gave an option to allow the momentum from boosting to be transferred into a jump. They added another slider that lets you change how much you slow down when you jump. And wow, setting it to 0 fixes an issue with the game I didn't even know I had. I was always on the defense of Frontiers' old movement, and yeah, it's not bad, it's still one of the best controls in the series. But Jesus, that change alone massively improves my experience with the game. It lets you get to places in cooler ways not possible before, and allows for an overall flow in the open zone to be maintained for a much, much longer time, improving this game's overall feel tenfold. And as well as that spectacular change, we now have a spin dash. And this might be a hot take, but this is without a doubt my favourite spin dash from any Sonic game. Here, let's compare the movements of Sonic Frontiers before the update and after. The flow and the general feel in the version with the spin dash and the new jump is improved to an insane extent. I mean, you can just see how much more fun it is, how much more you can launch, how much faster it feels like you go. You know, it's just the flow. It's just so much better with this update. It feels so much less plain, and because I can now boost and I can spin dash and you launch off the rails, you need to jump and maintain your distances and stuff, you're thinking about more things than just, I'm holding boost now. When I saw the spin dash in the trailer, I wasn't too sure on it, and when I unlocked it, I wasn't super keen then. It does take a while to get used to, but my god, when you get used to it, it's fantastic. I literally can't express how much these two changes have improved the overall game for me. And on top of that, the spin dash and the change in jump carry over into Cyberspace. I never really had a problem with Cyberspace. I liked it, but now I love it. The flow and sense of speed is so much better. The shortcuts you can pull off feel cooler than ever before. It's absolutely fantastic. The 3D stages really benefit from being able to use the jumping to skip over different gaps. And then the 2D levels really benefit from the spin dash. If you didn't like the 2D levels in the game, I'm begging you to go back and try some of them now with the new spin dash, because you will have a vastly superior time. In fact, if you haven't played the game before, or you didn't like it much when it first came out, I'm begging you to return, because this is incredible. As far as I can work out, the speed cap on the spin dash is the same as that on the boost, but it allows you to launch from terrain much easier, which make it feel like you're travelling at much greater speeds, as well as actually being able to speed up your traversal via strategically launching over objects or gaps, which is especially useful on places like Chaos Island. You can boost in the air following a spin dash to be able to trick. Not only does this look cool, but it actually has a use. It will decrease and stop your upward momentum, but increase your forward momentum, meaning you can launch further, so using it at the correct time is key to clearing certain distances. And as I said, it just looks really cool as well. However, if you haven't played it, bad news, because you're going to need to unlock it. The jump change is accessible from the start, however, so that is a huge positive nonetheless. Across each of the 4 main islands, Kronos, Ares, Chaos, and Oronos. Is that Oronos or Aranos? I've never been able to work that out. There are 10 of these different chain challenges. So if you're starting from scratch, you won't be able to unlock the spin dash until you get onto the last island. However, if you've already played the game, all you need to do is complete the challenges. They're short, little 1 or so minute challenges that have you chain together a bunch of different moves, be that running, fighting, grinding, going through hoops. The list goes on, and these are really fun actually. And they're also pretty difficult too. It took me between 2 to 3 hours to complete them all. However, I was playing on hard difficulty, and I found out that they scale based on difficulty afterwards. So, if you want the spin dash unlock quick, switch to easy and do them. It will make your life a whole lot easier. Overall, this is a really good addition, and you can replay them at any time, so sometimes it's nice just as you're running along to go, yeah, okay, sure, and to do these challenges for a minute or so. Another addition are these larger Coco spread across some of the islands. In fact, all of the islands apart from Rhea. You can use them to increase your maximum amount of boost, giving you a total of 5 boost gauges, which, to be honest, I'm not sure why you'd need to do, because you can get infinite boost for a short period of time by making an infinity sign with the loop. But it is what it is. They have these challenge-like obstacle courses laid out before you can access most of them. Some of them you can break by using momentum to skip over certain challenges. Praise be! These are actually pretty difficult sometimes, which is a pleasant surprise to say the least. The level design of all of them is actually actively designed to make use of the newly implemented momentum, which is fantastic. Some of them are quite vast and sprawling in some of their scope, so yeah, these are actually really, really good. Overall, for the most part, these were fun. However, they're not without issue. The pop-in that is present in Sonic Frontiers is an issue that Sonic Frontiers has always had, but it's never really been an issue. Until now, with these Coco. You see, some of the challenges are so vast and use ramps in order to you from launch to A to B to be able to get to the Coco. A lot of the time, you simply will not be able to see the place you need to go or the place you need to launch from because they haven't loaded in yet. So you have no idea what direction you need to go or what you need to do. For Update 3, I really do think this needs to be fixed. It's always been there, but it's not really been that big of an issue until now, but yeah, this is an issue. There are also more music notes scattered across all of the islands. These contain all of the movements from all of the island music, allowing you to play any track from any island on any other island. This is perfect. This is what I thought was going to be the jukebox mode originally, but I'm glad they had different songs from other games in it. But I'm also glad of this change, so I can play Rhea Island wherever I go. Another thing they've added is the option to disable the cinematic camera angles during fights. And as with everything else in this update, it makes the fight far more streamlined and fast-paced. It makes the flow of the combat feel better. There are some instances where I think the camera angles do benefit the fights, like the Titan bosses for example, but for the most part this is another good addition, and you can use it if you want. If you don't like it, you can put the cutscenes back on. Finally, let's talk about the new Game Plus added in this update. Well, at the time of writing this, I haven't actually tried it, but I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow, so here's me from the future to tell you if it's good.
Alright, that's all then. I do want to finish Chronos today. I probably won't do any more streams on the New Game Plus, because it's literally just the normal game again, so I don't really see what the point of it is, because it's not harder, providing more difficulty. It's literally, in fact, if anything, it's the same game but easier. It's nice to be able to do it with all the moves and stuff, all your moves you have unlocked, but at the same time, I don't really see the purpose of it, because New Game Plus usually make the enemies harder to compensate for you having all your moves still. Or, you know, do it in some way, like having you have less health or something, I'm not sure. But, you know, usually it's things like that compensate for you, that compensate for you having all your moves and stuff unlocked. But this doesn't really do that. It's just kind of the game, but again.
And with that, that's update 2. I remember when the updates were revealed on a roadmap that made this look like the most boring of the updates by far. However, I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. This is my favourite update so far. As with the last update, a vast majority of the issues I had with the game, aside from the pop-in, are fixed. As far as I'm concerned, this game is now near perfect, or at least the closest to perfect that a Sonic game has ever achieved. In my review of Sonic Frontiers when it first came out, I gave it a 9 out of 10, because I said the game was 30 hours for me to platinum it, and 28 of them were the most fun I've ever had with any video game ever. Which is true, and 100 hours of gameplay later, I'm going to have to still give it a 9 out of 10, because it's my belief that as long as there's an issue with a game, it is not perfect, and therefore not 9 out of 10, and the pop-in is an issue. Maybe it could all change in Update 3, who knows. Because of this, I'll be altering my scores for the game. The initial release is now a 7.5 out of 10, and after the Update 1, it's an 8 out of 10, putting us at 9 out of 10 now. Right now, we're sitting at the comfy 9, so I have more faith in Sonic Team and Sonic Frontiers' director Mario Kishimoto than ever before. I'm excited to see what Update 3 brings, as well as what future games bring. Thank you, Sonic Team, for making my favourite Sonic game. And thank you, Sonic Team, for continuing to work on it for future updates, all of which are free, did I mention? Woohoo!